everyone, and welcome to another video tutorial. Today I'm going to cover figure drawing, but in a slightly different way, and this doesn't have to exclusively be for figure drawing. There are other ways you can use what I'm about to show you. So when I started drawing, I didn't actually use methods like perspective or construction methods, basically, like I've been showing. What I've actually used to start with, and I think is what most people use, is that you just observe what you see and then try and draw it to the best of your ability. And I have some insights into that. I actually still use this method as well, along with construction methods, and blending the two together actually is what I find the most effective. But this is a completely different approach. This involves just looking at the thing and trying to copy it as best you can. This is like the more trial and error sort of style of doing stuff, and it takes a lot more time. So I recommend that if you're going to try practicing this, don't give up after the first try. You need to do this for a month, daily for a month, and then it'll start to make sense, and then it'll get better and better and better and better and better, and then you can basically be doing what I'm doing, which is just going out, drawing something every day. It won't always be perfect because you are using arbitrary measurements and you're just using your eyes to dictate what you want to see, but that's kind of the fun of it too, because then you can modify it how you want or change it when you start to understand more about things. So before I go on any further on a ramble, let's begin. I'm actually going to have off to the side just a reference, because you can't actually do this method without a reference. Well, you can, but you have to have an incredible visual library. So I'm going to be off to the side. I have several different ways to get figures. I use quick poses, and I think the other one was called... oh, well, that one doesn't. It's just called figure line of action. Lineofaction.com is another one. Or you could use the pose gallery that I've been putting up lately. Those are free to use. You can use them however you want. You can use them in your artwork. You can use them for whatever. If you have any requests for certain types of poses, just let me know, because it's something I enjoy doing for all of you. So, before any further ado, let's begin. The way I do it is I use a brush pen, because a brush pen gives me the versatility to add shadows really quickly. You can do this with liners, but I prefer using a brush pen when you start, because a brush pen teaches you control, pressure control, and all that sort of stuff. And when you can learn to do that, then every other tool becomes a lot easier to use. Even the only exception, I think, is digital drawing, which I'm not too familiar with, but I'm sure that can help too in certain ways. So I'm just rambling at this point, so let's begin. So what I end up doing is I start with an arbitrary thing, but with brush pens, I tend to start with the shadows only. So I look for shadows when I'm drawing, and we're going to do this really quick. So we just draw the shape of the face like this, and then the neck. And I haven't done this method in a little while, so bear with me. We're going to do the hair. And you can like scratch it like I'm doing, or you can just do one bold movement like that. Either way, it works. And then there's that shadow of the shoulder. This is the shadow of the breast. Shadow of the body, and then here. And sometimes I don't even draw the light side, because that's you start to learn that you don't need every line. This is a great way to learn that you don't need every line. You only need the ones that dictate what the form will be. But this takes practice. This isn't something you can achieve overnight, but it is something you can achieve with just a little bit of practice each day. You just got to be diligent about it. And if you want shadows that are close to each other, you just leave like a little bit of a gap. As you can see, I've had some practice with doing very tight lines, and it's actually one of the most greatest kind of like feelings of achievement once you get it. So this one is kind of pretty complicated. In any case, you can see where we're going with this. It's lots of fun to do, and you don't even have to do it in this much detail. I sometimes do it in one stroke, which I might do with the next one if the pose is easy enough to figure out. Oh yeah, that one should be doable. I would show you what I'm drawing, but I don't have the setup for that sort of stuff, so you just get to see what I'm doing here. Here, hair, neck. And I'm just basically looking and finding the shadows only and just drawing those. I don't know if there's much more I can explain about this. This is just more you observe, and then I could explain my decision making a little bit. So I am basically just looking for shadows, but if I find that I need to draw like the top of something like here, I'll do it so lightly that you'll only get a line of it, like a glimpse of it, but the rest of it is drawn as you see, and then you get that cool effect. What you want to avoid is doing something, so I'll just ruin this one, is doing something like this too much, because it makes it ruins the illusion a little bit. And so if you draw that, and then that, and then that, and then... See, it doesn't look as slick or nice. You can add more shadow sometimes. So if you do something like this, and then you don't like it, you can fix it, actually, by having more shadows, like, on the deeper side. Sometimes the figure you're drawing doesn't have shadows at all, and in that case, what you need to do is imagine where the shadows are. So I like to, for certain ones, just skip that one. For certain ones, sometimes the shadow is not there. Sometimes you have to imagine where they are, so I always just like to pick a light source coming from one direction. I'm right-handed, so the light source is always coming from the right. I'm going to just switch this one up. So the light source is always coming from the right. So even if it's not in the shadow of this one, I can do it like this. And like this. And... This is just making me think I should do a tutorial on hair at some point. Although the mechanics of that will basically be the same as what we're doing here. So you can see that you just imagined where the light source is. I think that I put that chin too low. Don't worry, because we've got hair, and hair is a good fix for everything. Like so. So I have fun doing this. This is a really good way to like figure out how shadows work, how values work, and all that sort of stuff with simple lines. If you struggle to draw fast, this is the best way to approach it, I think. Not the best, but it's one of the more fun ways to approach it, and it looks cool no matter what you do. So I advise picking up a brush pen. I use Pentel brush pen because you can refill it, and I just go with the flow. Draw what you see. The first few are going to be crap. A month later, you're going to see a lot of improvement. So please do try it. Try something new. Have fun with it. Keep learning. Ask questions. I'm always open to them. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you next time.